That's right. We're back. We're ready to answer your computer, technical, streaming, and cybersecurity questions. You're listening to a Faster PC live technical support here, heard every Saturday on WPSL, the 10 o'clock hour, 1590 on your AM dial. We're also streaming this live to Facebook and YouTube. I know last week we had a little bit of a glitch. Well, it wasn't really a glitch. I was troubleshooting some audio issues. And what actually happened was I had redone OBS Studio because OBS Studio was having some audio issues. I did find the culprit on that, and I will actually present that in our show at some point in the future for anyone that actually does stream and may be interested in streaming. That will be helpful, but probably a little bit later down the road, because today, it won't be today. Today we have a big show in front of us. We're going to be talking about streaming and actually comparing the Thursday night football stream on Amazon Prime with actually other streaming platforms, and how you can actually watch, and some of the features and the way it actually works, and how well it works. We'll also be going over a massive Microsoft Patch Tuesday, and this was the last Patch Tuesday. If you have Windows 10, you're listening, you need to take action right away. We can upgrade most computers, not all computers, but most computers we can upgrade to Windows 11, and in most cases we can do that remotely. We've done it really in the last week. We've done it to multiple computers. So we'll be talking about that. 177 security flaws, some of them major, really big. You'll want to make sure that you listen, that you get out there and get the updates installed. Adobe also released their Patch Tuesday, so we'll be talking about that. In addition to all of that, we will be going over the biggest cybersecurity threats of the week. So you'll actually be able to watch that. You'll be able to stay tuned and listen, so that you can take proactive measures to protect yourself. So first of all, we're going to jump over. Let me actually switch over. And I heard actually on the Swap Shop this morning, I heard Ray Thomas talking about how he's, from listening to this show, he's actually learned how to watch free content. And really, free content is really cool. One of the things we went over recently is we went over Prime Video, some of the various content that is on Prime Video. And one of the things that is on Prime Video, most of the Thursday night football games are on Prime Video. And this past Thursday was my first time watching Prime Video. I'm going to actually go into, on the live stream, I'll verbally describe this for those that are listening. But on the live stream, I'm actually going into Amazon. I'm going to the Amazon Prime. And what I'm going to do here is I can actually, there's a lot of movies, a lot of content, a lot of television shows. There is a new show, John Candy, I Like Me. And that's a line that you probably know this. That's a line from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But they also do have Thursday night football. And my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, sadly for me, they didn't actually pull it out this past week, but they were able to play on Thursday night. So I did tune in. I actually did not watch it from the beginning. This is one of the things. Ray says they bummed him out. Did you have them in the Lenny's Pick'em League, Ray, to win that game? I know all of the analysts in the pregame actually had picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to win that game, and so and Ray says he did pick them in the Lenny's Pick'em League, so they let him down, and very sorry for that. But one of the things you can do is if you have an actual account if you have Amazon Prime, you can actually install the Amazon Prime app on a Roku, on an Amazon Fire Stick, on an Apple TV. Google has their own television as well, and and then what you can do is you can actually watch the games, and you can actually set for certain things to be recorded. And when they're recorded, you can watch them, and you can watch them, after the fact. You can watch them while the game is still going on. You can join live, and that's the way I actually started the game. And but one of the things that I found, so here's, let me see, Thursday. Let me get this all in. Okay, so there's Thursday night football. Okay, so here we have it, Pittsburgh versus the Bengals. By the way, you know what? Thursday night football. Okay, so I had the game up here just a minute ago, but they actually have the Eagles versus the Giants. You can watch the other games, if you happen to miss one of those games. But so here we can watch the replay, the main broadcast. Now during the game, if you've set it, and I don't recall with Amazon Prime whether you have to set it ahead of time to record. I've done that with Amazon Prime if you have to do that, but I was able to join it from the beginning. Now, one of the things about Thursday Night Football is that with Thursday Night Football, they have a huge, on Amazon, they have a long pregame show. And there's a lot of things. They have a lot of colorful characters, including Fitzpatrick, former quarterback, the guy with a big beard and everything. There was even a funny commercial with this bobblehead toy that kind of looks like him. They have him. They have Richard Sherman. They have the lineman that actually played for the Bengals, and then he won the Super Bowl with the Rams. And they have a lot of, I think, Tony Gonzalez. So they have a lot of good commentators. They also for the main game, they actually brought over, I can't remember his name, but the main play-by-play guy from, I believe, NBC. They brought him over when Amazon started doing that. He's actually older. He's I think 80. He's gotten a little bit of flack this year for his commentary, that some people saying that he's just kind of getting lost a little bit. Well, at 80 years old, sometimes that happens. But you can go in here. You can watch this. One of the things that I like to do when I'm watching the games, when I'm watching them late or after the fact, is I like to actually go ahead and fast forward through the commercials. And you can fast forward through here, but one of the things you'll see, you don't see where you're going. You just have to look at the time. You can't see little thumbnails. And I'm going to switch over in just a minute to the NFL app. And with the NFL app, you can actually see, see what's going on. So here, and you know what? I think this doesn't actually have the pregame on here. So that's something that's interesting. So when you're watching it live, you see the pregame, but this must not have the pregame. So we have the game going on, and you can actually see it. And that was a good play for us, where the running back dropped the ball. Running back for the Bengals dropped the ball, but sadly, some other places they actually gouged the Steelers defense. So, but I'm going to switch over, because one of the things that I did, I was watching it late. I actually had an emergency on site where I went to a home to resolve an internet issue. While I was there, I upgraded 3 computers to Windows 11, and then after that, I had to go to a hotel. At the hotel, and while I'm telling this story, I'm going to actually switch over to the NFL app. But I had to go to a hotel that had some power outages. There's been a lot of storms here lately. They had some power outages, and their security cameras were not displaying on the front 2 TVs. So there's one by the front desk, and there's the staff actually sit back other places and watch this as well. So, but one of the things, and it looks like NFL, on the NFL Network, they're actually rebroadcasting. If you wanted to watch it again, or you didn't get to watch it at all, they're actually right now rebroadcasting Pittsburgh Steelers at Cincinnati. But I can go over here, because I'm an NFL Plus Premium subscriber. I can go over and go to games, and I can actually scroll down and find the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to be all the way at the bottom because they've already played. These other games haven't played yet. So here's the final. Now when I go in here, I can watch the full game. I can watch the condensed game. I can watch the full game alternate broadcast, which I'm not sure exactly. I mean, that might have been I'm not sure what broadcast that was. The alternate broadcast might have been Spanish. Well, here is a Spanish. I can watch the full game Spanish. I can also watch the full game condensed. So the full condensed, and it's interesting they do have the all 22 also. So this is the 22 coaching films. The condensed game is really quick. But I wanted to watch. I did switch over about halfway through because the game was over at that point. I was watching it pretty late. I actually switched over to NFL because here's what you can do with the NFL. When you're watching the game, you can actually fast forward, and you see there's thumbnails here. So you can see what you're going to, and you can get to that place. And by the way, when you're watching it later, quite often they have removed the commercials from this. If you're watching it right after the game's over, a lot of times you're going to have commercials, but it's really easy just to fast forward through those commercials because you see the thumbnails and you can see that, and it really in my opinion, it's a better view. You don't have to watch those commercials, and you can skip the time. And again, if you really want to save some time, well, go ahead and watch the condensed version. The condensed version is very quick. It shows you from the beginning of the first play to the end of the first play to the beginning of the second play. It cuts out injuries, cuts out timeouts, cuts out a lot of stuff, cuts out replays. You really have to pay attention. You're not going to be able to actually just watch it and get it without actually paying attention there.
You're listening to a Faster PC radio here, heard every Saturday in the 10 o'clock hour right here on this station and stream live to our Facebook page. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, ready to answer your computer questions. So you know what? If you have questions, well, we can't answer them unless you ask them. Our number, if you want to have your computer questions answered, is 772-340-5090. 772-340-5090. Also, you can type your questions into the comment section of our live Facebook video that's happening right now over at Facebook. You can go there, search for Faster PC. We have almost 23,000 likes, or you just go to our website, afasterpc.com, click on the link to listen to a Faster PC radio. We're here. We're ready to answer your computer questions, and we'll be right back to do that. Computer problems? You need a Faster PC. Hackers are constantly looking for ways to break into your computer and network to access your data and hold it hostage. Think this can't happen to you? Think again. Hackers regularly target small businesses. A Faster PC has produced a cybersecurity crisis report that goes over urgent and critical protections every small business must have in place now to protect their bank accounts, client data, confidential information, and reputation from the tsunami of cybercrime. To access this report, give us a call at 772-878-5978 or download the report today at www.fastpc.com. That's www.afasterpc.com. Cybersecurity problems?
You need a Faster PC.
A Faster PC is located at 7190 South US 1 in Port St. Lucie, next to Dollar General.
To access this report, give us a call at 772-878-5978 or download the report today at afasterpc.com.
You need a Faster PC.
772-878-5978. Microsoft's end of support for Windows 10 is here, and if you continue to use Windows 10, your computer will be increasingly susceptible to security vulnerabilities. A Faster PC can upgrade most computers to Windows 11, even if Microsoft has told you that your computer doesn't support Windows 11. And we can even do so remotely without you needing to leave your work or home. Don't be a sitting duck for hackers. Let a Faster PC upgrade your computer today. Computer problems?
You need a Faster PC.
When you need to protect your computer from hackers,
you need a Faster PC.
A Faster PC is located at 7190 South US 1 in Port St. Lucie, next to Dollar General.
And on the web at
www.fastpc.com.
That's www.afasterpc.com. Computer problems?
You need a faster PC.
www.afasterpc.com. 772-878-5978. Welcome back to a Faster PC Radio. I know you've been waiting, well, a whole few minutes for the next segment of today's show. If you've been waiting to give us a call so that you can get your computer question answered, well, now's a great time to give us a call. Give us a call. The number here at the studio is 772-340-1590. 772-340-1590. Of course, if you're a little bit shy, maybe you don't want to call and be on the radio. This is your opportunity, by the way, if you do want to be on the radio. But if you're a little bit shy, maybe you don't want to be on the radio, you don't want people to hear what you say, then you can actually head over to our Facebook video. It's a live Facebook video going on right now. You can head over there. Just go to www.afasterpc.com. Click on the link to listen to a Faster PC Radio. That'll take you to our Facebook page, or you can go to Facebook, search for a Faster PC. You'll find our page. We have between 22 and 23,000 likes. You'll be able to actually get over there, scroll down on the page a little bit. You'll see the live video, and you can type your question into the comment section. Now, your question doesn't have to be on what we've been talking about. It can be on any topic as long as it's computer related. So head over there and you can be on the show, or just give us a call, 772-340-1590. We did also want to remind you that we have technicians standing by, ready to resolve computer problems. Our number in the shop is 772-878-5978, and we are located at 7190 South US 1 in Port St. Lucie. Again, the number is 772-878-5978. Computer problems?
You need a faster PC.
Yes, you do, and we are back ready to answer your computer, technical, streaming, and cybersecurity questions. You know, hey, this is a big week of the month. And really, it's a big week of really the decade if you're a Windows 10 user, because this past Tuesday is the day that Microsoft ended support for Windows 10. So if you're out there, you're running Windows 10 still, you need to really, I would advise you to make some changes. Why would you continue? Basically, at this point, you got the updates that were just released, but you're not going to get any other critical security updates. Now, Microsoft will release minimal updates to you, but really the security holes, some of them will be 0 day. You're not going to get those. So make sure that you're updating your computer. This is also the Tuesday that Microsoft and Adobe announced their patches. And this past week, Microsoft announced 177. Now, that's not, you heard me correct, 177, 177. That's a huge, it's the largest single month security update in their entire history of updates. If you're running Windows 10, you need to hear this. 3 vulnerabilities are already being exploited in the wild right now. Let's break down what you need to know to protect your systems. So here's the thing. Every Tuesday, the second Tuesday of every month, Microsoft releases patches, and Adobe does as well. So we're going to break down these patches, discuss them. We'll also show you how you can actually make sure that your systems are updated. And so what we're going to do, let's talk about this record-setting release. Microsoft patched 177 CVEs, that stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exploits, this month across Windows, Office, Edge, Azure, Hyper-V, .NET, Visual Studio, GitHub, Exchange Server, BitLocker, and even Xbox. When you include third-party updates, we're looking at a total of 195 CVEs. 16 are rated critical, 1 is moderate, and the rest are important. this officially makes it the biggest month ever, the biggest single month ever for Microsoft security patches. Now, here's what's interesting. We're only in October, and 2025 is already the second busiest year on record for Microsoft patches. They might even surpass the 2020 record of 1,250 CVEs by the end of the year. Why this massive volume? Well, Windows 10 support is ending, so Microsoft might be pushing everything they can for those legacy systems. But honestly, large releases seem to be the new normal. Let's just hope these are quality patches that don't break something else, because occasionally that happens. The last thing we need is for people to be afraid to patch their systems. But now, 3 bugs are already being actively exploited. That's right, 0-day threats. We're talking about 3 0-day threats. 3 more are publicly known. They'll be exploited soon. We're going to break down the critical ones that you need to patch immediately. So there's a Windows Agere modem driver vulnerability. This is an elevation of privilege bug that lets attackers gain administrative rights on affected systems. Here's the kicker. These drivers ship natively on all supported Windows versions. Microsoft's solution? Remove the offending files entirely, since these are legacy drivers anyway. Microsoft hasn't said how widespread the attacks are, but since every Windows system has these files, threats, this is a broad campaign, and you want to patch immediately. You want to treat this as a broad campaign and patch immediately. So next up is the Windows Remote Access Connection Manager. This is another privilege escalation that allows attackers to execute code as system. So what privilege escalation is where your username is not configured with admin rights, and really no username is configured to have system rights. And so the hackers will try to escalate the privileges of that user, and in this case it escalates it to system rights. That's the highest privilege level on Windows. That's system level. These bugs are typically chained with code execution vulnerabilities to completely compromise a system. Again, no details on the attack scale, but all Windows versions are affected. You want to test and deploy quickly. So here's another one. There's a secure boot bypass in IGEL OS before version 11. Now, IGEL is a Linux-based app-centric OS that's designed to be modular. Somehow an attacker can physically access bypassed secure boot to gain system access. This one's probably highly targeted given the physical access requirement. This one's probably highly targeted given the physical access requirement, but it still impacts all supported Windows versions. You don't want to ignore this one. There's a Windows Server update service. This one's not under active attack yet, but listen up. It has a CVSS score of 9.8, which means that it's almost all the way as severe, almost has maximum severity. 10 is the highest it can get. This has 9.8. That means remote, unauthenticated attackers can execute code without privileges, with elevated privileges, without user interaction. Translation, this is wormable between WSUS servers. If you are using WSUS, and most enterprises are, this is a critical piece of infrastructure. I'd bet money this will be exploited soon. Prioritize this patch. And so what we're going to do now, and we'll go over the Adobe updates here in just a minute, but what we're going to do now is I'll actually go over and show you how you can actually install the updates. for Windows. So I'm going to switch over to a full screen. And let me see, my full screen is actually, okay, there it goes. It's been glitching a little bit lately, but I'm switching over to full screen to show you this. So what we're doing is we're going out to Windows Updates, and we're going to actually search for Windows Updates. Now, if you notice in the lower right, I actually have the Microsoft Update logo in the lower right near the clock, and this says get the latest feature and security improvements with the newest feature update. This is the newly released version Windows 11 version 25 H2. And so this came out just recently in the last few weeks to months, and we've actually been seeing it out when we've been installing and upgrading computers to Windows 11. In most cases, we've been using 25H2 version of Windows 11. Mine, it popped up yesterday with this option where I could install it. I did not do it yesterday because of this show. I really wanted to do this, have a little bit of time just in case something goes wrong. I have a ton of work to do in preparation for this show. Our church also has shows on Sunday as well on both WPSL and WSTU. And so I have a lot of audio to get to the studios. And also this show, it's vitally important that everything goes well on this show. But you see here when you go to settings, and by the way, you get to settings, click start, look for the gear or the cog. Mine is in utilities because I've moved mine into a group. I've grouped everything so I can fit everything that I actually normally use. I can fit on the start page. Go up to settings, and it'll actually you want to go to Windows Updates and click check for updates. Or if you already have updates that are there, you can actually click on them. Now, again, I'll be installing the Windows 11 version 25H2 soon. By the way, we talked about Windows 10 being end of life and that date already coming. And again, if you're using Windows 10, this is the last update that you'll get. After this, you're not going to get those 0-day threat updates. You're going to need to actually update your computer to Windows 11 or replace your computer. In most cases, we can update computers to Windows 11, and we can do that. However, if you have Windows 11, know this. There is one version, the very first version of Windows 11, which I believe was 22H2, is either end of life already, or it just became end of life, or it's about to become end of life. So just be aware of that just because you have Windows 11, you want to make sure that you're installing the updates and that you're getting the latest version, or at least that you're pretty close, that you're using a version that is currently supported. How would you find which version you have? Well, we're going to click on the Windows key and press the R key. That'll bring up the Run dialog, and I can actually type in WinVer. Mine's already there because I typed it already. WINVER, it stands for Windows version, or short for that. And this will actually tell you what version of Windows 11 that you have. Version 22H2 is end of life, or will be very soon if it's not already. So make sure that you get 23H2, 24H2, or the newly released 25H2. We have not seen any problems with 25H2, and like I've said, most of our updates have been 25H2 recently. So most of the systems that we've been updating them to version 25H2. Now to the Adobe patches. Adobe has synced up their patch releases with Microsoft. We're shifting gears to go over the Adobe October updates. Adobe released 12 security bulletins covering 36 CVEs. Again, that stands for common vulnerabilities and exploits across Adobe Connect, Commerce, Creative, Cloud, Desktop, Bridge, Anime, Experience Manager screens, and several Substance 3D products, including Viewer, Modeler, and Stager. We've got patches for FrameMaker, Illustrator, and Dimension. The good news, none of these are under active attack yet. or publicly known, but you do want to still get out there and install the updates, because once the updates are released, believe me, the hackers will be looking to actually exploit these. So there are, on Substance 3D Stranger, there are 5 critical code execution bugs. You want to patch this. Also, Dimension, there are 4 code execution bugs. In Illustrator, there's only 2 bugs, but both lead to code execution. In Commerce, there's 5 CVEs, including 2 security feature bypasses. In FrameMaker, there's 2 critical code execution bugs. So for the rest, Connect has the most XSS issues. Anime has 4 bugs, with 2 being critical. Substance 3D Viewer has 3 critical out of 4 total. Experience Manager screen patches 3 XSS bugs. Substance 3D Modeler, Creative Cloud, and Bridge each have single-digit vulnerabilities. All of Adobe's updates are deployment priority 3, meaning you've got some breathing room, but don't sleep on these critical ones, especially if you're in the creative industry where these tools are mission critical. Now I'm going to switch back over to a full screen. I'll show you how you can actually launch and install these updates with Adobe. You want to launch and open the Creative Cloud, and then you actually have an option here to look for updates. And so we can click for updates, and there is an option where you can manage auto updates. Make sure that all of your programs are on auto update, and otherwise you can manually update these. I have updated these. I do have mine on manual update, and you see that some of them were updated 20 days ago, some 15, some 24, some 7. So I think really Adobe probably releases these updates ahead of time, and then they just let you know about it afterward. But if you need any help with that, give us a call.
You're listening to a Faster PC radio heard on this station every Saturday in the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back for the final segment of today's show. Listen, if you want to get your computer questions answered and you haven't called in, now's your opportunity. In fact, this is your last opportunity coming up. 772-340-1590. 772-340-1590. You can also head over to our Facebook page, and you can actually, from the Facebook page, you can type your computer questions into the comment section of the live video, and we'll cover them on today's show. But you know what? You've got to get over there right now, or give us a call, 772-340-1590, so we can answer your computer questions. Computer problems? You need a Faster PC. The one thing we hate to hear after someone's hard drive dies is, "I was just about to make a backup." Just about is not good enough. At a Faster PC, we can recover data from failing hard drives, but not all the time. And we can't recover your data if it's stolen or destroyed by fire, unless you have a backup. We can't recover your data if it's encrypted with ransomware unless you have a backup. A Faster PC can protect your data from loss by hard drive failure, fire, theft, sabotage, and ransomware. Don't wait until it's too late.
You need a Faster PC.
When your data is important,
You need a Faster PC.
A Faster PC is located at 7190 South US 1 in Fort St. Lucie, next to Dollar General.
and on the web at
www.fasterpc.com.
that's www.afasterpc.com. When you can't lose your data,
Don't you know by now you need a Faster PC?
give us a call today at 772-878-5978. Microsoft's end of support for Windows 10 is here, and if you continue to use Windows 10, your computer will be increasingly susceptible to security vulnerabilities. A Faster PC can upgrade most computers to Windows 11, even if Microsoft has told you that your computer doesn't support Windows 11. And we can even do so remotely without you needing to leave your work or home. Don't be a sitting duck for hackers. Let a Faster PC upgrade your computer today. Computer problems?
problems?
You need a faster PC.
When you need to protect your computer from hackers?
You need a faster PC.
A faster PC is located at 7190 South US 1 in Port St. Lucie, next to Dollar General.
And on the web at
www.fastpc.com.
that's www.afasterpc.com. Computer problems?
You need a faster PC.
www.afasterpc.com, 772-878-5978. Welcome back to A Faster PC Radio. This is the last segment of today's show. We'd love to answer your computer questions, but if you don't call, we can't answer. Give us a call. The number to have your computer question answered is 772-340-1590, 772-340-1590, or you can hop on over to our Facebook page, A Faster PC, and actually from there, you can type your question into the comment section. So again, just a few more minutes to answer your questions. We did want to remind you also that not only can you ask your questions at the Facebook page or by calling 772-340-1590, but you can also watch the video as well. So some of the questions that I'm answering, as I answer those questions, I'll be able actually to show you the steps that you go through to resolve computer problems. And if you're not where you can watch it right now, that's fine. You can watch it at your convenience shortly after the show's over. It'll be up there on our Facebook page. You can get there one of two ways. Either go to our website, afasterpc.com. We have a link that says listen to A Faster PC Radio. If you click on that, it'll take you to our Facebook page, or go to Facebook and search for A Faster PC. We also wanted to remind you that in the shop we have technicians standing by today to work on computers and resolve computer problems. We're at 7190 South US 1, and our number in the office is 772-878-5978. And of course, we're here to answer your questions. Well, your computer questions, and we could answer other questions, but we're here specifically to answer computer questions. Computer problems? You need a faster PC. Yes, you do, and we are back ready to answer your computer, technical, streaming, and cybersecurity questions. One of the things I think I failed to mention is that anytime you have a question, even if it's on a different topic, go ahead and give us a call or type that question into the comment section of one of the live videos. I'll actually switch over and just check the live videos. I don't see any comments or any questions over there quite yet. But you can always do this. Some of the content we're going to cover today regardless, even if we're extending the show, can't do that on the radio, but we can do that on the live stream. But every week we go over the biggest, most critical threats that are out there, and today is no exception. We want to go over the biggest critical threats so that you can take proactive measures and protect your computer network, your data, and really make sure that your systems are safe. So what if I told you that right now, as we're watching this video, over 266,000 companies are sitting ducks for the nation-state hackers, or that Microsoft just patched the highest severity vulnerability ever. Welcome back, and really what we're going to do, we're going to be going over 5 critical cybersecurity threats that broke out this past week. If you're in IT, deployment or development or cybersecurity, you need to know about these. If you're just a normal user, you need to know about these. And really, especially if you have a business, if you have a medical practice, if you have a dental practice, if you have an accountant, if you are running an accountant's office or work in that in a legal office, any nonprofits out there, whether you have a home office, even just a residential person, you need to know about these. So really, the first threat that we're talking about here is ConnectWise Automate vulnerabilities. So starting off strong with a threat to managed service providers everywhere. ConnectWise, they're one of the big companies that a lot of managed service providers use, that's companies like us that provide technical support, IT support, ConnectWise just patched 2 critical vulnerabilities in their Automate platform, an RMM tool that basically gives IT teams the keys to the kingdom. The first up has a CVSS score of 9.6 out of 10. This one allows sensitive information to be transmitted. By the way, 10 is the highest. 9.6 is very high up there. This one allows sensitive information to be transmitted in clear text. We're talking credentials, commands, and even payloads, all possibly visible to anyone conducting a man-in-the-middle attack. That's where hackers are in between the person logging in and the device that they're logging into. So there's another one that has a CVSS score of 8.8. This vulnerability lacks integrity verification for updates and integrations. The translation, an attacker could swap legitimate files for malicious ones by impersonating the ConnectWise server. Here's where it gets really scary. These vulnerabilities can be chained together. A threat actor can push malware disguised as legitimate updates, and because RMM tools have access to everything, they'd have persistent access to your entire infrastructure. The good news, cloud instances were automatically patched. The bad news, if you're running on-premises version earlier than 2025.9, you'll need to update right now. And this is serious. You don't want to wait around. You want to make sure that you enable multi-factor authentication and implement least privileges as well. There's no evidence of active exploitation yet, but that will happen. But RMM tools are historically high-value targets. As part of Microsoft's recent Patch Tuesday, they just patched the most critical ASP.NET core flaw ever. And so we're talking about one that has a high vulnerability, and you want to actually protect yourself against this. This is an HTTP request smuggling bug in the Kestrel web server. With a successful exploit, authenticated hackers can hijack other users' credentials, bypass security controls, view sensitive information, modify files on the server, and potentially crash the entire system. That's just for starters. Microsoft security team scored this one the worst case scenario in mind, because the impact really depends on how your application is coded. But the possibilities are terrifying. Privilege escalation, server-side request forgery, CSRF bypass, and injection attacks. If you're using .NET 8 or later, install the updates from Microsoft's updates and restart your app. For .NET 2.3, you'll need to update the Kestrel core package to version 2.3.6, recompile and redeploy. Self-contained applications, same drill, update, recompile, and redeploy. This was part of Microsoft's Patch Tuesday that patched, really, with third-party patches, almost 200 CVEs. Threat number 3 is a nightmare scenario. F5, a Fortune 500 security company serving about 23,000 customers, including 48 of the Fortune 50 companies, got breached by nation-state hackers. The attackers stole source code and information about undisclosed big IP security flaws. While F5 says they found no evidence of exploitation or leaks, here's the kicker. Shadow Server Foundation discovered over 26,000 F5 Big IP instances exposed online. That's 142,000 in the United States alone, plus another 100,000 across Europe and Asia. F5 released patches to 44 vulnerabilities, including the one stolen in the attack. And while they're not confirming it publicly, private advisories to customers reportedly link this attack to China, specifically the UNC 5291 threat group. That's right. Sometimes we're not just dealing with Bob in his mother's basement. We're dealing with China, Russia. We're dealing with nation-state hackers. These are the same actors who exploited Ivanti zero-day and used custom malware like Zipline and Spawn Ant. The scariest part, the threat actors were active in F5's network for at least a year. They used Brickstorm malware, a Go-based backdoor, to maintain access. CISA took this threat seriously enough to issue an emergency directive requiring federal agencies to patch by October 22nd for critical systems and October 31st for anything else. Listen, if you're sitting out there, I wouldn't wait that long. I would get this patched right away. You know, you don't want China, hackers from China in your system. They also ordered agencies to disconnect and decommission any internet-exposed F5 devices that have reached end of support. And that's good lesson for everything that's out there. If you're running F5 products, update immediately. Compromised Big IP appliances give attackers everything: credential theft, API keys, lateral movement, and persistence. Microsoft Teams has encountered a ransomware campaign that Microsoft actually reached out and shut down. For threat number 4, we've got a social engineering campaign that's absolutely devious. A threat group called Vanilla Tempest launched ransomware attacks through fake Microsoft Teams installers. They registered domains like teamsinstall.top and teams-download.buzz. And so, you know what? We do have a caller on the line. What we're going to do, I'm going to go to the caller. We have just a few minutes on the air with WPSL. I'm going to continue this threat rundown, though, live on the YouTube video and the Facebook video. You can get the links to both of those on our website. There's a link at the top that says live technical support. Click on that and you can actually join on. But we're going right now to George on the line. Welcome to A Faster PC live technical support, George. How can we help you today?
Well, I was just wondering if we have a time frame that we want to consider not upgrading the computers, the PCs.
Sorry.
I mean, how old of a computer?
Yeah, so you know, typically when you're talking about security updates, I really wouldn't delay. If you have a big organization, you may want to test it, install it on a few computers. What we did actually with one of our clients, that's a dental office, they had 2 computers that didn't have Windows 10 or Windows 11. So I updated it on one of those to Windows 11. Everything went fine, so we did the next one. So I would do something like that. But really, the security updates, you need to install those right away. And there are occasionally glitches in updates, and you might run into a problem or two, but that's really less of a risk, in my opinion, than letting potentially a hacker into your system. You don't want to let a hacker into your system, especially if they're Chinese nation state hackers. or Russian nation state hackers, or from Iran, or anyone else that really hates us. You don't want them in your system. You want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, that you're protecting your systems. So this is really what I would do. On any of them that are critical, that are security related, I would get them done. Now, I did mention earlier that I have the next feature update to Windows 11 ready to go on my system. I didn't install it today. I'll probably do it maybe Monday or so. Maybe I'll do it Tuesday, because I do have another live stream Monday evening. But what we want to do there is just something like that doesn't have to be done right away. It's a feature update, but I still get my version is still supported. I get all the critical updates. I get all the security updates. And, but going to that next version, it might actually solve some. I have had a few problems with my video adapter recently. It might solve some of those issues, but I want to give myself a little bit of time so that I can test it out, so I can make sure everything's working, and I can roll it back if it doesn't work. So hopefully that answers your question, George. I would definitely get any security updates installed immediately, as soon as they're available. Now, the Microsoft updates, again, we talked about this. 3 of them are under active exploit. 3 more are publicly known. You want to protect yourself against these. You want to make sure that your systems are protected. And if you need help with that, give us a call.
We're coming to the end of today's show, but if you've missed any part of the show, want to listen to or watch it again, or want to share it with your friends, head over to our website, afasterpc.com, and look at the top of the page. Right in the middle, there's a red button that says Live Technical Support. Click on that button. On the left-hand side, you'll see various ways that you can actually request live technical support from a Faster PC's technicians. On the right-hand side, you'll see how you can listen to and watch a Faster PC live technical support, including on the radio, on the TuneIn app, on your Alexa or Google speakers, and on our podcast, as well as links to both our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, where you'll not only be able to hear the show, but also see the show. We also have links to our YouTube channel's video page, where you can watch individual segments, and then also our shorts page, where you can watch little snippets of a Faster PC live technical support. We're open today until 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, we're open from 9 to 5, and next Saturday, we'll be open from 9 to 2. We want to invite you to listen to our church radio show tomorrow morning here on WPSL at 10 a.m. You can listen to other sermons on our church website, covenanttabernacle.com, or our church YouTube channel, Covenant Tabernacle World Outreach Center. If you have any computer questions for next week's show, you can type those into the comment section of our live videos over at YouTube and Facebook. Again, you can get the links to both of those by clicking on the live technical support button at our website, the top middle, and you can request live technical support on that page as well. Computer problems?
Don't you know by now you need a faster PC?
Sunday, October 5th, my mother, Margaret Longworth, passed away. People say she's in a better place. Why did they say that? How do we know? Can we be sure? I believe that my mom is in heaven, but not because she lived a good enough life to earn her way into heaven. The Bible says all have sinned and fall short. She's in heaven because she repented of her sins and trusted Jesus for salvation.
WPSL, Port St. Lucie.
Nationwide protests. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox
All
News.
right,
Thousands
so
of No
I'm
Kings
actually
protesters are
ending
be out.
the Zoom call. So I'm ending the Zoom call, and we did have a call that came in at the end of that show. So we did not go over the full cybersecurity threat rundown. I'll actually go over threat number 4 again, and then we have threat number 5, and then we'll close that out. I didn't want anyone, and we always do this, if you have a call, if you have a question, you can always call into our show. We can answer that question, and we'll roll some of this content. I mean, some of the content can roll to next week, but these security really threat rundowns, we need to go over this today so that you can take proactive measures so that you can know about this. So here's the thing. So this is the Microsoft Teams ransomware campaign. And this is a social engineering campaign that's absolutely devious. A threat group named Vanilla Tempest launched a ransomware attack through fake Microsoft Teams installers. They registered domains like teams-install.top and teams-downloadbuzz that look almost identical to the real thing. They used search engine ads and SEO poisoning to push these fake sites to the top of search results. When victims downloaded what they thought was the legitimate Teams installer, they actually got infected with Oyster backdoor malware. This gave the attackers remote access, file stealing capabilities, command execution, and the ability to drop additional payloads, including Rhysida ransomware. The really clever part, they used legitimate code signing services from SSL.com, DigiCert, and GlobalSign. Microsoft revoked over 200 of these certificates in early October to disrupt the campaign. Vanilla Tempest, also known as Vice Spider and Vice Society, is financially motivated and has been active since at least June 2021. They've dropped Black Cat, Quantum Locker, Zeppelin, and now Rhysida ransomware. They particularly love targeting education, healthcare, IT, and manufacturing sectors. The lesson here, even downloading from what looks like an official source can be dangerous. Always verify the URL. Check the HTTPS, and when possible, go directly to the company's official website instead of clicking ads or running a search. We see customers all the time that get into the wrong place, that call the wrong company, that go to the wrong website because they did a search rather than going to the location of and really look at the URL. Look at that, even these that kind of look, the websites actually looked legitimate. They actually are malicious, and really, Microsoft's not going to use something like Teams-installer or Teams-download in their URL. Their URL is going to have Microsoft.com most likely, or Office.com as the actual address. So there's also a Cisco SNMP rootkit attack. This is threat number 5. It brings us to Cisco networking equipment. This is a recently patched remote code execution vulnerability in Cisco iOS and iOS XE devices. This wasn't just theoretical. Attackers deployed rootkits on Cisco 9400, 9300, and legacy 3750G series switches, as well as older Linux systems without endpoint detection. Now, here's the thing, what a rootkit is, it's a very low-level infection that actually controls a lot and is difficult to detect as well. The rootkit is sophisticated in this case. It can listen on any port via UDP, toggle and delete logs, bypass authentication and access control list, enable a universal password, hide configuration items, and reset timestamps. Trend Micro calls this campaign Operation Zero Disco because the malware sets a universal password containing the word disco. In simulated attacks, researchers showed you can disable logging, spoof IP addresses, bypass internal firewalls, and move laterally between virtual LANs, VLANs, even new switches with ASLR protection aren't completely immune. Here's the worst part. Trend Micro says there's currently no tool that can reliably detect if a Cisco switch has been compromised by these attacks. If you suspect a breach, you need to perform low-level firmware and ROM region investigation. The attackers also tried exploiting another vulnerability, a 7-year-old vulnerability, showing they're going after legacy systems too. And here's the thing, when you're out there, you need to make sure that your systems are protected. So if you're using any of these, or maybe you don't even know whether you're using any of these, you don't know whether these apply to you. Well, in that case, you need a little bit of help and you need a faster PC. We can come alongside you. We do have cybersecurity, advanced cybersecurity analysis, and we can actually run a free cybersecurity scan on your system to see if your system is protected. We can make sure that your systems are protected, and we can look and make sure that your systems are good to go. This is something that we do for all of our clients, and we want to be able to do this for you as well. So give us a call, 772-878-5978, 772-878-5978, or go over to our website of fasterpc.com, afasterpc.com. You can schedule a free discovery call with me. I can sit down with you. We can talk about your system. We can analyze your systems, and we can see whether any of these apply to you. We can also do a vulnerability scan that looks for other vulnerabilities as well. And again, we can take proactive measure and help you take proactive measure to keep your system safe. So if you're listening out there, you want to take part in that, again, our website address is afasterpc.com, and our phone number is 772-878-5978. Again, 772-878-5978. Computer problems or cybersecurity problems, you need a faster PC.